Welcome to this presentation about configuring a Proxy-Cache server with Squid, made by the Group 7 team Karim Khanoufi, Abdsamad Dawi, and Ayoub Lamrani, supervised by Abdullah Igrem. Today's presentation planned to start with an introduction to Squid and proxy caching. Second, Squid architecture and caching concepts. Then, the key configuration directives in squid.conf. Fourth, getting started with Squid, proxy setup and usage. And finally, a troubleshooting real-world examples. So first thing first, what is Squid? Squid is a caching proxy server that intermediates between clients and servers, storing frequently accessed web pages to reduce bandwidth usage. The benefits of using a proxy server. First thing is security. They filter traffic, blocking malicious content and provide an additional layer of protection against cyber threats. Second is anonymity. By hiding client IP address, proxy servers enhance user privacy, making it harder to track activities. Performance. Caching reduces the need to load web pages by serving content from local storage, improving user experience. Now, how caching improves performance? First thing is reduced latency. Cached content is served quickly from the local storage. Then less network traffic, fewer requests are made to the original server. And load balancing. Caching helps distribute the load by serving popular content from the cache, reducing the strain on the original server. Is particularly useful during peak loads. Now the caching concepts. How the architecture and operation work with Squid. Squid works with single and non-blocking process. Efficiently manage thousands of concurrent connections. Event-driven I/O model handles multiple connections without blocking for performance. Caching mechanism. URL-based storage, HTTP header management, e.g. last modified or expired. It supports negative caching. How Squid works internally. First thing, the client-facing part, responsible for handling a variety of protocols including HTTP, HTTPS, proxy, FTP, and many more. The server side facing manages communication with servers using protocols such as HTTP and many more, but the Gopher protocol is deprecated. For the cache storage, buffers data during transit and encrypts switching logic to manage disk storage, memory storage, and server-side storage. Optional diversions provides flexibility through features like URA rewrite, reductions, ICAP, ECAP, and HTTP request reply manglers. There is extra support tasks like security, DNS client, IDNet client, whois client, login, and variety of QoS and web caching, NAT client and cache, peer integration, and many more tasks. Now, we need to understand the forward and reverse proxies. The forward proxy used by clients to access external servers, configuring in browser for applications to forward requests. On the other hand, we have the reverse proxy, which sits in the front of a web servers, receiving client requests and forwarding them to appropriate servers.
Let's dive into the key configuration directives in squid.config. So first thing first, we have to set the port to 3128, which is the port that listens to the request. And as the second line shows, we set up a 100 megabyte cache that has two level directives. The first level directive has 16 folder and the second level directive has 256 folder. And in the same folders, we have this file called cache dir, which is the file that tracks the cache logs. Now let's talk about controlling access with access control lists. So by default, Squid gives access only to localhost, and so to make it for everyone, we have to do HTTP access allow all, and also we can specify it for a certain network by doing HTTP access allow and then the network. For example, here 10.0.0.0/24. And there is the last line that shows HTTP access deny all, which means that we deny and restrict all the access to everyone else beside the one we give the access to. Now let's talk about logging and monitoring. For logging and monitoring, Squid has three main files. The first file, which is access.log, it tracks all the requests and it shows who is doing what. There is also the file called catch.log, which is the file that tracks the response and the actions of the squid, and it helps us find the issues when we find the actions and the response of squid. There is also the log file rotate, which is the file that manages the log files and by the rotation settings. So let's get started with Squid in the practical setup and usage. So first thing first, we have to install Squid, and for here I'm using Fedora, and to install Squid in Fedora we use the command sudo dnf-y install Squid. Second, as I said in the previous slides, we have to configure the file squid.config by setting the port and the cache and the access roles. And finally, we can launch Squid by doing the command sudo systemctl start squid, and we can see the status of Squid by replacing start with status. To test Squid, we first have to set the browser's proxy to localhost 3128, and due to the command sudo tails, it shows us the logs, and as you can see here, I have visited the www.squidcache.org website, and Squid tracks this visit. Now let's do a quick live demonstration. As you see, we first have to launch Squid with the command sudo systemctl start squid. And now, to verify it's working, we replace start with status. As you see, it's active and it's running. Now let's see if it tracks our previous logs. With the command sudo tails, and I'm going to give the path. As you see, it tracks all the websites that I have visited. For example, here I have visited google.com and other websites.
Troubleshooting. Here we have the problems that you may face them. The three necessary problems we have: page won't load, logs are empty, Squid is slow. So first we have page won't load. To fix that problem, you need just to check if Squid is running or no by using the command sudo systemctl status squid and restart your Squid service. And ensure you have HTTP port 3128. This should match your browser proxy settings, and using the both commands, the sudo firewall cmd add port 3128 and, and sudo firewall cmd reload. So what this command do? Sudo firewall cmd add port 3128 TCP open TCP port so that that incoming connection can reach the Squid service. Permanent makes changes persistent so it stays open after reboot. Reload applies the changes immediately without restarting the system. Next, we have logs are empty and Squid is slow. So to fix logs are empty, you need just to restart your Squid config after changes by using sudo systemctl restart Squid. And if your Squid is slow, you need to just to increase the memory cache by using cache mem and specify the how many megabytes you want in cache mem and adjust disk cache by using maximum object size. For example, here we have 4 megabytes. And next we have some real world examples. First, we have Office Network. Squid helps reduce internet bandwidth used by caching popular websites like news, social media, and we have Internet Provider too. Use Squid to cache popular content, for example, YouTube, so it loads faster for users and reduces the need to fetch it from internet every time. And we have content delivery. Squid can be used to speed up delivery of images and video by caching them closer to users. So as a conclusion, proxy caching improves web performance by storing frequently accessed data closer to users. This reduces service load and speeds up response time for a better user experience. As a conclusion, proxy caching improves web performance by storing frequently accessed data closer to users. This reduces service load and speed up response time for a better user experience. Thank you.